Part of the reason I do the opens. You know, a lot of my buddies will say, "Oh, it's so expensive driving that far," and well, it'd be nice if they brought it to the house, you know, this and that. And yeah, it would be cool. I'd like to have home field advantage every once in a while, but I signed up for this so that I could go see new places. You know, we go to our local, 40 boat derby on the Madison chain, and I know 36 of the 40 guys, and I can probably pick the top 10 by looking at them just based on their history and what they know on the lake and stuff like that. So it's cool to meet new people, to see new places. My boat hasn't moved since I got home from Rayburn in October. It's sitting in the shop. There's my ice fishing gear on top of it, a deer rifle, blueprints, lots of other things. But it's hasn't been touched yet, but I do need to get my button gear going into next year. My goal is obviously to do as well as I can. But my main goal is I had 3 really good tournaments last year. My issue was I either did really good or I did like absolutely horrible. Like Oneida. I shouldn't even talk about Oneida. I'm so embarrassed about Oneida. I'm so pissed off still about Oneida. That sets up largemouth, smallmouth, rock, grass. It's what I fish every day at home, right? I had a really good practice. I could catch them at will. I didn't lean on them. I didn't stay in my area and catch 20 pounds a day and then move to a different area. I was able to figure out a pattern, and it held up for all of practice. And I could catch them at will. And it was just a matter of getting the right size ones. And I was finding the right size ones. The last day of practice on a popar in less than 2 feet of water, I saw well over 20 pounds of largemouth. And I don't know if I zigged and they zagged, but I started with that because there was a couple kind of isolated things, and I thought there was no way anybody else was going to find them. And I actually ran them multiple times both days, and I never caught a single largemouth. So by the time I got to my one smallmouth place, it was kind of a community hole, but there was an isolated thing off the side of it. I actually watched Jacopo Galelli catch his limit fish and his cull fish, and I think he was top 3 on the first day. So I had the right game plan. There was a giant mayfly hatch. Wind slicked off. I even went down to 4-pound test line and a black hair jig like we do here at Sturgeon Bay in the springtime, and I bombed. There's no other way to put it. I bombed bigger than Dallas. So after we get the schedule, I kind of do a brief overview. I look at each lake, just kind of get a feel for it, do a little bit of YouTube research and stuff like that, and then look up previous tournament history and stuff like that, just to see, what it's going to take for a weight and stuff like that. But then once we get within a week or 2 of the tournament, I really start cracking down on especially the Google Earth. It's amazing what you can find on Google Earth. For anybody that doesn't know how to do that, if you load it up on a desktop computer, like I carry a tablet in my boat so that I can hotspot it off my phone and I can look at Google Earth while I'm there. But if you do it on a desktop and you go to the toolbar, there is a calendar or a clock. You can actually turn back the clock. I really kind of fine-tuned that and figured out how to do it when we were on Rayburn in 2020. I actually found a brush pile that I turned it back, I don't know however many years, and you could actually, the water was like 15 feet low. I could actually see the brush piles on Google Earth and label them, and I was able to enter the waypoints in my locators, go out, verify that I was looking at, in fact, a brush pile, and I was accurate with probably, 20 of the 30 that I found that way. So, and by doing that, then it kind of gave me a basis of, hey, this is how the brush pile's set up on this lake. Good friend of mine, Paul Brownie from Texas, back to the Opens this year, been with the MPFL last couple of years. I call him the king of brush piles. I swear that guy could find a brush pile in a stack of brush piles. He's phenomenal at it. And he's taught me, just find the first one. All you gotta do is find one and figure out how, is it in the mouth of the drain? Is it in the back of the drain? Is it on the side of the drain? Is it on the point, around the point, whatever it is. When you figure that out, look at your map, and you can duplicate it all over the lake and find them, and it makes it way easier. You're not idling for hours looking for them. So, been pretty fortunate on the sponsor front this year. Got 4 repeat guys, and actually picked up a couple new ones. So Marlin Lumber, Rock River Marine, JD Car Care, and Beeline Alignment, locally here in town. definitely, I appreciate you guys very much. They all chipped in some cash, helped me go fishing, helped me chase my dream. Picked up JS Custom Carpentry, my Mennonite partner, Joe. I'm not sure if he just wanted to sponsor me. He wants to travel along as a coangler, for maybe he thought he'd give me a little money and I'd actually let him in the truck this year. So either way, I appreciate it, Joe. I'm with AC Slayer Reel Tuning. He does reels for Iconelli, he does reels for Seth Fighter, stuff like that. He can customize them, make them all color coded. He can do a simple cleaning and polish the bearings, the factory bearings that are in there, and it does a phenomenal job with them. And then just recently picked up Nate Rogers at Badger State Maintenance. Thank you, I appreciate that. And then working on an exclusivity deal with Arc Rods this year. So I now throw Arc Rods 100% of the time. I have for the last couple of years. Absolutely love them. They're a good price point for a rod. I use the Invoker Pros, which are like their middle of the line. They're about $150 a rod. Anybody that's in the bass fishing world, we all have a shopping problem and there's never too much tackle problem. But I have probably 70 of their rods. They finally got all their reels in. They released them at ICAST. They had issues getting them shipped over and stuff like that. Talked with Justin last week at Arc Rods, so I'm going to be ordering several reels to give those. I got a couple buddies that have gotten hands on them. I really like them, so looking forward to getting those. So, and then, of course, my title sponsor, my company. I started in 2004, and I have 4 phenomenal guys that work for me. Matt and David and Caleb, and Hayden's our newest guy. He just graduated high school last year, been with us. Well, according to some app he's got that they gave him in high school, he's been here a year because he worked through the co-op program to start with. So, and they do a phenomenal job of holding the fort down. I bust my butt and make sure that they have it as easy as they possibly can, that they're focused on one job, and all they got to do is worry about this. I worry about all the headaches and the meeting and greeting and the calling and the billing and all that stuff like that, and they just continue to crank out a phenomenal house after a phenomenal house. I really appreciate that. So yeah, and a huge shout out to Ty. Ty was with me Ty actually recruited me in 2001 out of high school through the student build program. I worked under him. He was my foreman for a year. I went else places after that, and then he came back to work for me like tail end of 08, 09, somewhere in there. I think it was like middle of 09. And has been with me ever since. Unfortunately, he had an accident in March of last year. He's on the mend. He's doing good. So we are working towards getting him back, not in the same capacity that he was. Hopefully going to pull him in the office and make my life even easier when I'm on the road. So he's got a phenomenal construction background and just a great dude. So we're definitely working towards that. It's been a long road, but he's doing good.